Welcome to Tech Teardowns. We're about to tear down one of the most powerful technologies on the planet, the large language model. But here's the thing. We're also going to ask a pretty wild question. What if its golden age is already over?
Yeah, you heard that right. This whole explainer is built on a really provocative idea that the era of these all-powerful monolithic LLMs, well, it's peaked. Their dominance is surprisingly fragile, and what's coming next? It's going to completely shatter everything we think we know about AI.
Okay, so Act 1, the search for a mind. Look, to really get why this giant might be on shaky ground, we've got to go back. We need to understand how it was built in the first place. And that story, it all starts with this decades-long quest to, well, teach a machine how to think.
And let me tell you, this journey was a long one. I mean, way back in the 50s, we had things like symbolic AI. Think really simple chatbots with handwritten rules. Super brittle, couldn't scale at all. Then in the 90s, we got statistical models, which was a step up, right? They could learn from data, but they didn't really get the meaning behind the words. 2013 was a huge moment with Word2Vec. That was a real breakthrough. It started to capture the semantic meaning of words. We were getting so close. But there was still one massive fundamental problem holding everything back.
So what was that problem? It was basically a traffic jam, a computational traffic jam. You see, the older models like RNNs and LSTMs, they were smart, but they had to process words one by one by one. It created this sequential bottleneck. They just weren't built for the modern world of parallel computing. And then the transformer arrived. And it didn't just, add another lane to the road. No, it completely demolished the old country road and built a massive multi-lane superhighway for information. Everything changed.
Act 2, Anatomy of the Giant. So with this new superhighway in place, we could suddenly start building on a scale that was just unimaginable before. This was the moment. This is when the giant was born, the technological titan that really defines AI as we know it today.
So how does this giant actually think? Well, it's basically a three-step dance. First up, tokenization. The model takes raw text and just shatters it into smaller pieces, like a super complex puzzle. Next, embeddings. Each one of those little puzzle pieces gets turned into a rich numerical vector, basically a digital fingerprint that captures its true meaning. And then, step 3, this is where the magic happens. Self-attention. This is the part that connects all the dots, all at once.
And the secret sauce behind self-attention is this brilliant little system called query, key, and value. Just imagine a super efficient library. You've got a word and it has a question, right? That's the query. So it zips around the library and looks at the index cards for all the other words. Those are the keys. When it finds a card that looks relevant, it doesn't just read the card, it pulls the entire book off the shelf. That's the value, to get the full context. It's an amazing system, and that's exactly how a word like it, in a sentence, can instantly figure out it's referring to the animal from 5 sentences ago.
And listen, this isn't some theoretical lab experiment. This giant's power is very real, and it's already out there, completely reshaping entire industries. We're talking about everything from managing a company's entire collective brain to creating these hyper-personalized customer experiences to speeding up R&D in incredibly complex fields like pharma. The impact is just massive. It's undeniable. Just look at the numbers. At Accenture, they used an internal LLM to cut the time it takes to train new hires by 50%. I mean, think about that efficiency gain. Over at Woven by Toyota, they slashed their total cost of ownership on R&D for autonomous driving also by 50%. They basically doubled their R&D firepower for the same budget. And get this, a major gaming company is now using an LLM to automatically moderate toxic chat with an incredible 88% precision. That makes their platform safer for millions of players. So yeah, the power is absolutely real, but so are the cracks in the foundation.
All right, Act 3, the giant's feet of clay. Because this is where our story takes a really dramatic turn. For all of its incredible power, for all of its world-changing potential, this dazzling giant, it's standing on a surprisingly fragile foundation. It's standing on feet of clay.
And when we look closer, we can see 5 deep, interconnected crises, 5 foundational cracks forming in those feet of clay. We're talking about an energy crisis, a reasoning crisis, an ethical crisis, an economic crisis, and a security crisis. And honestly, any one of these could be enough to threaten the whole structure.
First up, the energy crisis. So, right now, one of the main ways we make these models reason better is to just throw more compute power at them during inference. Let them think longer. But the cost of that is insane. It can increase the energy consumption by a staggering 97 times. 97! This brute force approach to intelligence, it's just not sustainable. Not environmentally and not economically. Then there's the reasoning crisis. And this one's a doozy. Research from places like ASU and Apple is showing that what looks like logical deduction is often just a brittle mirage. It's a sophisticated form of pattern matching that completely shatters the second it's confronted with a problem that's even a little bit unfamiliar. The result, it produces what researchers call fluent nonsense. We just call them hallucinations.
Which brings us to the ethical crisis. Because these hallucinations and the biases baked into the models, these aren't just little edge cases we can patch up. They are fundamental flaws. I mean, look at this. On the Truthful QA benchmark, which is designed to be really tough, some well-known models were found to be truthful only 25% of the time, 75% not truthful. If you're a company building your products on that, that's a massive legal and reputational minefield.
Fourth, we have the economic crisis. And this is all about vendor lock-in. When your company builds its core workflows on a single proprietary model from one big provider, you're creating a profound strategic liability. You're not just buying a service anymore. You are literally handing the keys to the kingdom, control over your costs, your innovation, your own data, to someone else.
And finally, maybe the scariest one of all, the security crisis. There's this threat called data poisoning, and it is insidious. Attackers can inject almost undetectable flaws into the foundational training data. This creates permanent sleeper agent bugs inside the model itself. They just lie there, dormant, waiting, and then they can compromise thousands of apps all at once. And the worst part, no one would even know until it was way, way too late. Okay, Act 4, the coming AI revolution. So, let's be clear. These 5 crises, they aren't just bugs to be fixed. They're not just problems we can patch over. No, they are the catalyst for a massive paradigm shift. They are literally forcing a revolution that will take us away from this one giant model and push us towards something completely new. And you can see that shift right here, comparing the old paradigm to the new. The future isn't about building an even bigger one-size-fits-all giant. It's about a decentralized ecosystem of smaller, more specialized agents working together. We're going from architectures that are brittle, black box mysteries, to ones that are verifiable, glass box systems you can actually audit. We're moving from a centralized rent-seeking economy to one built on decentralized open protocols. And we're going from a world of massive centralized security risks to one where any potential damage has a much more contained impact. And this isn't some far-off science fiction, you guys. This future is already starting to happen. A whole new wave of architectures is emerging right now. You've got state-space models like Mamba, which are on the verge of solving the massive context length problem. You have diffusion-based LLMs that generate text in parallel for huge speedups. And then there's hybrid AI, which is this incredible idea of combining the power of neural nets with old-school symbolic logic to get reasoning that's not just powerful, but actually explainable. So, navigating the paradigm shift. As this whole thing unfolds, every single one of us, every developer, every company, every leader, faces a really critical strategic choice. How do you navigate this transition from one era of AI to the next? Because the choices you make right now, they have vastly different risks and rewards. You could be a status quo maximizer, right? Go all in on the current giants, get high time to value, but you're taking on a huge risk of vendor lock-in. Or you could be an open source adopter, which gives you tons of strategic agility, but you have to deal with a lot of implementation complexity. Maybe you're a hybrid pioneer trying to build that next big thing, which could give you a massive competitive advantage, but also comes with very high technology risk. Or you could just be a cautious observer. Low immediate risk for sure,
but you might face the incredibly high cost of inaction, of being left behind.
And that brings us to the final crucial question. The big takeaway here is this. The AI revolution isn't over, not by a long shot. It's really just beginning. The fall of this first giant, powerful but with those fragile feet of clay, it's actually going to fertilize the ground for a whole new ecosystem to grow. 1,000 new ideas. So as these monolithic giants start to crumble, the real question isn't if they'll fall. It's what new worlds will grow in their place. And most importantly, who is going to build them?